Okay guys, I wanted to make a video talking about what's been going on in WWE lately, and I think the best way to do that is to go through the Payback card and kind of talk a little bit about each storyline and what's been happening. So, I guess the best place to start is the Daniel Bryan neck surgery situation. Recently Daniel Bryan has been feuding with Kane, and it's been pretty awful. Brie Bella's acting. When Daniel Bryan was driving away in that car and Brie was fake screaming, so cringeworthy. But I'll tell you what else was cringeworthy is on this past Raw, the contract signing with the Shield and Evolution, where Ambrose, who I really like, dropped the pin. Oh, that was so painful because he was in there trying to act like a badass. And he was like, give me the pin, I'm going to... I dropped it. The only thing that kind of saved him was when Batista signed it and threw the pin for some dumbass reason. And then Triple H was like, okay. But yeah, Ambrose... As much as I like Ambrose, he kind of tries too hard, if you know what I'm saying. He kind of overdoes it with the stomping around and pacing back and forth. I know that's his thing, but he could still tone it down a little bit. But yeah, dropping the pin was painful, and then you had Evolution staring at him. It was just, brutal. Anyway, Kane was feuding with Daniel Bryan, and I heard a lot of people saying, oh, Daniel Bryan looked weak because he's been running from Kane. And after I watched the shows myself, I really didn't see that. To me, it looked more like, excuse me, Daniel Bryan was trying to protect Brie from Kane and not really running from Kane himself. But yeah, the whole thing's just been over the top silly. So, as far as the neck surgery situation goes and what WWE is going to do, it really depends on how long Daniel Bryan's going to be out. If it's not going to be too long, they should definitely not strip him of the title because they have already done that so many times. The fans are just going to think this is a work and they're just screwing the guy they want as champion yet again. So they kind of backed themselves into a corner with that one. If it was me and he was going to be out for a substantial amount of time, I would hold another tournament like they did when CM Punk left with the belt for like a week and have someone like Cesaro win. Daniel Bryan comes back and defeats Cesaro and proves that he is the real champion. Something simple like that. Doesn't have to be really complicated. You could build Cesaro up and then have Daniel Bryan beat him when he comes back and then Daniel Bryan's over again. So something like that would be really simple to do if he is going to be out for a long time. Ideally, I don't think he should be stripped of the title at all. And if he has to give the belts back to Stephanie at the pay-per-view or Brie's going to be fired, then I could see Daniel Bryan saying, oh, I talked to Brie, she's my wife, she loves me, she supports me, and I refuse to give up the belts. But yeah, the whole thing is just really complicated, and it's unfortunate. It's kind of like Daniel Bryan was on top of the world, and then a lot of bad shit started happening to him. And I'll never forget when he said, everything in my life is perfect right now. Because you should never say something like that. Anyways, on to the pay-per-view card. We got El Torito versus Hornswoggle, Mask versus Hair. The whole thing's really silly. I think the Bull has beat all three members of 3MB now, which is pathetic. And here, El Torito will defeat Hornswoggle. He can't lose the mask because that's his entire gimmick, is that he's supposed to be a real bull. And on Raw, they did the whole thing with Hornswoggle pulling his tail off, and then he sold it, running up the ramp, holding onto his butt. I actually watched that with my sister, who does not watch wrestling at all, and she was really entertained by Raw. She just wanted to see what kind of crazy stuff they were going to do next. And RVD's outfit, she really got a kick out of that with the tiger stripes and the yin-yang. Rusev versus Big E. Rusev is going to win. Big E is nothing. They gave him a shot. They probably could have pushed him a little better, booked him a little better. I mean, he did lose a match, or he won a match against Titus O'Neil, but it was because Titus beat him up too much. So that was really bad. And yeah, I'm over Big E. He never really got me to that level where I really wanted to see him wrestle. And his matches, even if he had a good look to him, his matches were always really boring to me. And I know a lot of people like him, but I just never really could get into Big E. So Rusev should win that. Paige versus Alicia Fox. Alicia Fox was my favorite part of Raw this week. Her freakouts are amazing. She freaks out when she wins, and she freaks out when she loses. And the best part about it is you never know what she's going to do, and the segments go on and on and on. And just when you think it's over, she walks back around and does some more shit. It's phenomenal stuff. And this week she gave like a ringside attendant a wedgie. Just great stuff. However, I don't think they're going to put the belt on her. And I hope this whole thing wasn't just to build her up so that she can lose to Paige, which initially I'm sure it was. But I think it's actually gotten over, and WWE is going to continue doing this with Alicia Fox because people are talking about this. And like I said, my favorite part of Raw. So I think Paige will defeat her at the pay-per-view, and hopefully this feud continues. Sheamus versus Cesaro for the U.S. title. I think Cesaro's going to win. Possibly Sheamus would win this and they would continue this feud, but I think Paul Heyman's going to help Cesaro get the win here. Maybe they'll continue it and then Sheamus gets it back or something, but as far as this match is concerned, I would say Cesaro. Bad News Barrett versus RVD for the Intercontinental title. Barrett has to win this. John Cena versus Bray Wyatt. Oh my God. Bray Wyatt. This booking of Bray Wyatt is terrifying. I can't believe WWE at this stage in John Cena's career would book his opponents this way. It's scary. It really is. For the future of these younger guys, this is scary. Bray Wyatt loses to Cena at WrestleMania. He needs a ton of interference at Extreme Rules. The entire Wyatt family lost to John Cena in a handicap match. What more is there to be done? Bray Wyatt has to win this match, but even if he does, it's going to take a ton of interference. I'm talking hitting the guy with a car to keep him down for 10. And that's just absurd. You can't suspend disbelief for that. Bray Wyatt has been getting over just because he's got a great gimmick. I love the gimmick. But it doesn't matter how interesting the character is if no one can believe he has a chance of winning. In my mind, Bray Wyatt is a complete freaking loser. I mean, he's an utter loser. He does nothing but lose and then talks about it. That is all he does and has been doing since WrestleMania. And that's a terrible way to book a guy. I mean, the fans could be really interested in the character, but if all they see is a complete loser, it's going to die. How does WWE not know this by now? So on to Evolution. So yeah, anyways, my prediction is Bray Wyatt wins the match. Evolution versus The Shield. I've really enjoyed this feud. At Extreme Rules, they had a great match. It wasn't like a 5-star classic or anything, but it was pretty much what I expected, maybe a little bit more. But I enjoyed Evolution versus Shield, and I think at Payback it's going to be over because from what I hear, Batista's leaving soon, and that would mean the end of Evolution. And they want to put the Shield over, I hope, so the Shield will win this match, and then Evolution will disband for a little while. But yeah, it should be a good match. I'm excited about that one. As far as the pay-per-view goes, I don't really care about it. Yeah, the only thing I want to see is Rusev destroy Big E and a good match with Evolution versus Shield. That is it. There's a couple things I almost forgot. Adam Rose and Bo Dallas. So both of these guys have debuted now. And Bo Dallas, he's not as bad as I thought he was going to be. He's definitely a heel. And WWE loves showing his gut in slow motion for whatever reason. But I don't think it's that bad of a gimmick. I honestly can't even believe this is a gimmick. But because he's a heel, I think he can at least do something with this before he goes into Damien Sandow territory, which I assume is going to happen. I don't see him going very far with this gimmick, and he's not that good in the ring. He's okay, but he's also lacking a lot of experience, something Sandow has. So Bo Dallas could overcome this and become a huge star in WWE, but I don't think it's likely. I think he's going to be in the mid-card for a while and then fall down like Fandango and Sandow over the next year. So that's Bo Dallas's debut. Right now it's not too bad. The matches aren't very impressive. Maybe once he gets into a feud it'll be better, but right now it's just another goofy gimmick. And speaking of goofy gimmicks, Adam Rose is a whole different animal. I don't know what to make of this. On one hand, I kind of like it, and on the other hand, it's just so cheesy. It's the entourage that makes it cheesy to me. You have a party by having a lot of people dress up in really stupid costumes. That's not a party to me. That's a bunch of nerds. This is just so over the top. The stuff he says, like, "Where's my cheeseburger?" And then he's got a guy in a cheeseburger costume. And then he's got like the lemon guy and "Nobody touches my lemon." I know I do a terrible British accent, I think it's supposed to be. But Adam Rose wrestles a very homosexual, unorthodox style. And because he wrestles this kind of homosexual way, I wonder if that's why in the vignettes they had him say, "This is my ex-girlfriend and my future ex-girlfriend," so that they would make it clear that he's not gay. I really have no idea what to make of this guy. The matches are goofy comedy, kind of like you get in a Santino match, but then if you touch his lemon or do something equally stupid, he gets angry and actually becomes a serious wrestler. So it's kind of all over the place with Adam Rose, but right now I actually enjoy his segments. So I'm not going to just say, you know what, send him to the Fandango trash heap just yet. Something else I wanted to mention. Crap, what was it? I almost forgot. So we got Bo Dallas, Adam Rose. I can't. Oh! Damien Sandow and his goofy gimmicks, where he came out as Magneto. Oh my god. That was like the saddest thing I've seen in wrestling in a long time. Damien Sandow coming out as Magneto. And Magneto was one of my favorite characters in the Marvel Universe, so it kind of sucked that they were hurting Sandow and Magneto at the same time. And they made Magneto a villain, which is the way a lot of people view him. I mean, Magneto is one of the X-Men's greatest villains, but in reality, in official Marvel canon, Magneto's probably been a hero way longer than he was ever a villain, and that's like what he is now. So it's kind of goofy that he's always portrayed as a villain in media, but that has nothing to do with wrestling. So anyway, Sandow is Magneto twice. He loses, and then this past week he was Davy Crockett. And he comes out and he smiles, but then he cuts these promos where he talks about how much he hates this crap and how they make him do this. And he has to go out there and wear a big smile for the people. These promos are really good, and I hope this actually goes somewhere because Sandow is a really talented guy who is passionate about wrestling, just like Dolph Ziggler, and I would hate to see him just never really get a good shot. Same thing with Dolph. I really hope they continue to do something with Dolph. But yeah, Damien Sandow's just been getting the complete burial, and I still stand by what I said. He had to have pissed somebody off backstage because there is no other excuse for this. Somebody has it out for Damien Sandow big time. And I've watched the international version of SmackDown a few times, and Cesaro cuts these promos in German, and then he'll interview someone. And these promos are freaking awesome. He did a great one with 3MB, and he did one with Damian Sandow where Sandow went off talking about how he hates these stupid gimmicks he's given. These promos are great, and you don't get those on the SmackDown we have here. I also wanted to mention the unedited SmackDown. Now, this was entertaining, I guess. It was really the same. I watched both shows just to see what exactly was different. And really, you just had Michael Cole talking to Vince and Kevin Dunn backstage a few times. That was really the only difference. So it wasn't like it was a super big deal that they had an unedited SmackDown. But I think this whole thing is a work. This whole reality era is just really suspicious to me, that now that they have the reality era, a Raw script gets leaked out. An unedited SmackDown airs. And now they have a DVD coming out, Raw, the best moments after the show goes off the air. It just seems like WWE is doing these things on purpose, and no one's really caught on to this yet. That's just what I think. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's some stupid conspiracy theory. I don't know. Alright, so for a special bonus, I don't know if you could hear these guys during the videos. Yeah, this one's kind of sleeping down here. The other one's behind the couch. I'd go over there, but my webcam's actually attached to the computer. Boom. Boom. There he is. Little Boonsy. Alright. So yeah, that's my video on my predictions for the Payback pay-per-view. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Leave your thoughts and predictions on the show in the comments, and thanks for watching. Bye. But yeah, the whole thing's just been over the top silly. So, as far as the neck surgery situation goes, and what WWE is going to do, it really depends on how long Daniel Bryan's going to be out. If it's not going to be too long, they should definitely not strip him of the title, because they have already done that so many times. The fans are just going to think this is a work, and they're just screwing the guy they want as champion yet again. Acting. When Daniel Bryan was driving away in that car and Brie was fake screaming, so cringeworthy. But I'll tell you what else was cringeworthy is on this past Raw, the contract signing with the Shield and Evolution, where Ambrose, who I really like, dropped the pen. Oh, that was so painful, because he was in there trying to act like a badass, and he was like, give me the pen. Yeah, dropping the pen was painful, and then you had Evolution staring at him. It was just, brutal. Anyway, Kane was feuding with Daniel Bryan, and I heard a lot of people saying, oh, Daniel Bryan looked weak because he's been running from Kane. And after I watched the shows myself, I really didn't see that. To me, it looked more like, excuse me, Daniel Bryan was trying to protect Brie from Kane and not really running from Kane himself. Okay, guys, I wanted to make a video talking about what's been going on in WWE lately, and I think the best way to do that is to go through the Payback card and kind of talk a little bit about each storyline and what's been happening. So, I guess the best place to start is the Daniel Bryan neck surgery situation. Recently, Daniel Bryan has been feuding with Kane, and it's been pretty awful. Brie Bella's and I'm gonna say, I dropped it. The only thing that kind of saved him was when Batista signed it and threw the pin for some dumbass reason, and then Triple H was like, okay. But yeah, Ambrose, as much as I like Ambrose, he kind of tries too hard, if you know what I'm saying. He kind of overdoes it with the stomping around and pacing back and forth. I know that's his thing, but he could still tone it down a little bit. But